Hello, sir.
Hello, hello, hello. All
How you
right, we're gonna
doing,
start
man?
off. I'm good. We're gonna start off strong. So I had this dream, right? And usually I'll just like take my dreams or my nightmares and be like whatever with them. But since you talked to me about the sleep or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
so this is how the dream goes. Mila was driving and we were having a conversation. She was driving in Brooklyn, and then she makes this left turn. Oh, have you seen Wednesday, the show on Netflix?
No, I have not. I'm not a fan of scary stuff because they're never scary.
So in the show, there's this like monster, like this big eyes, this crazy looking monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So back to the dream. She's driving the car and she makes this left turn. We're talking fine. And I ask her a question and she's just not answering. She's like kind of like ignoring me. So I keep asking her, oh, my plane is dying. I gotta water it. So she keeps I keep asking her the question and she's ignoring me. So I'm asking her, and I'm getting closer and closer to her. And like every time that I blink, she transforms and her face is starting to like transform like into the monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm yelling at her like, yo, because I'm watching her transform, and then she just looks at me like with the monster's face, but it's like her face, but like transformed like the monster. And then I grab the steering wheel. And then next thing I know, I open my eyes and my eyes are wide open and I'm like hissing at Mila in the bed. so so I know it's kind of crazy, right? So I'm hissing at her and then she's looking at me like, are you fucking with me right now? And I'm like, what just happened? She was like, you just kept jumping in your sleep. And I was trying to wake you up, and next thing I know, you're trying to bite me, like
Oh,
with your eyes wide open. So as I woke up out the dream from seeing her transform to this monster, all I know was I was already up,
mm-hmm.
lunging towards Mila with my eyes wide open, and like I was trying to bite her while hissing. And it felt like the monster itself that was in the dream. When I woke up, I felt like I was. It's gonna sound crazy. I felt like I was the monster. Like it jumped through the dream, through me, and then when I woke up, I was like trying to attack her, and then I just like snapped out of it.
Hey, a few questions. Were you under the influence?
No, other
You
than no, this was
oh,
middle of the night. We just like other than like we smoked and went to sleep. But it's not like I smoked and like got crazy high and then like went into like a crazy dream. It was just
mhm.
like regular smoke throughout the day. We went to sleep and it was just like a dream throughout the night, in the middle of the night.
So what do you think the dream meant?
I don't know. I do have this thing. I don't know if this is it, but the only thing I could think of was I have this thing about being ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she was ignoring me, and
Oh,
my mind maybe her ignoring me is something I didn't like, and I see it as something negative or I don't know. But she doesn't like Mila doesn't ignore me, so I don't know like where it came from.
so why do you feel entitled to someone's response?
In
Because
conversation.
yeah, because she didn't respond to you, so therefore the monster, right, jumped through you to attack her.
Hmm.
So why do you feel entitled to someone response in order to mediate your negative feelings of being ignored or being in silence?
I don't know if I necessarily ever felt entitled to somebody's response. Um,
But you said that you don't like being ignored, right? And within that dream, she was ignoring you. Then to some degree, you became the monster, and
well, she started to transform into the monster.
correct.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
right.
So,
Hmm.
which is very interesting. So, by her ignoring you, now she turns into a monster in your eyes.
And yeah, I guess,
Right.
yeah.
So, now I always like going back to your childhood because
Uh,
everything you're experiencing nowadays tend to be rooted in your childhood. All of our triggers are based on our childhood experiences. So,
mhm.
can you recall a time? Actually, let's stay in the relationship first. Can you recall a time where you felt ignored in the relationship?
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. It's things like I
So
may
tell
mention
me that
something.
story. Tell me the story of the last time you felt ignored by your significant other.
The last time I felt ignored. What the fuck were we even talking about? I can't remember the last time, and I can't remember a specific time. So I'm trying to remember right now. I do know there's just times where if we've had a conversation and I've mentioned something that I may not have liked or something that I feel like I'm getting an excuse or a reason afterwards. And it's just like, if I'm telling you, I'm acknowledging what you're saying and listening to you, and I would just like the same thing reciprocated. Things like that. But being ignored is like a big pet peeve for me.
I can imagine now.
Yeah. So it's not. Mila Mila isn't doing anything like crazy when it comes to ignoring me. But I have like ended a relationship just because somebody was ignoring me while we were having a conversation.
Yes. Before we go there, right? I want you to take me to your childhood. Was there a time in your childhood, if you were to rewind your memory, where you felt ignored?
Well, that was normal. That was just like normal for me to feel like ignored during my childhood, or my mom would tell certain stories biased. You know how Caribbean people would tell stories like it's like one-sided when it comes to like their children, or exaggerate, or the story would be hyperbolic. Mm-hmm. So I was just used to that. That was normal for my mom not to like acknowledge the shit that I would say to her, or lie, or exaggerate. So that's why
tell me a specific story during your childhood, a specific one where you were ignored.
Okay, so this is one of the biggest ones. One of the things I would tell my mom was I didn't like going over to my dad's house. One, because I deal with my stepmother, and two, like my dad wasn't really watching this, usually with our stepmother, or I just don't like the environment. This was around the time I would have to go with them to church, deal with my stepmom. It was just too much for me. And I would tell my mom I don't like going over there. My mom would tell me, well, if you have to go because otherwise your dad isn't going to give you any money for you. So it's just like, why do I have to go through this just so my dad takes care of me? That was one of the biggest things from my childhood that I remember.
Okay. So you expressed those feelings, right? And technically she ignored you because she never followed through on that, nor did she validate what you were saying.
Yeah.
And you've also said that you've ended a relationship because you felt ignored?
Yeah.
Tell me more. Can I hear that story, please?
Oh yeah, this one was good. So I was dating my girlfriend and we got into an argument about whatever. So she was already on the rocks, but usually I would always try to work it out. So we're talking and we're having a conversation and she's packing. She was packing because she was going to DR. And while we're talking, I'm asking her a question and like she just blatantly ignored me. So I asked her a question like multiple times and she just kept ignoring me. So I got up and I got dressed, put on my sneakers, and by the time I got in the elevator, I was in a relationship, and by the time I got downstairs, I wasn't in a relationship anymore. And then by the time I walked out her building, she called me and I told her it was too late. Now we're single.
Did you communicate to her prior to that experience that you don't like being ignored?
Yeah. And it's just, for me, it's one of my biggest like blatant disrespects, because I'm not even acknowledging your presence, your existence, or whatever, anything that you're telling me. So I was like, okay, since you want to be that disrespectful, then we don't need to interact or do anything. It's just my biggest pet peeve. And yeah, it does stem from my childhood and my mom with like ignoring me or not taking my feelings into consideration or my point of view into consideration. Everything was always about what she wanted or her for the most part. And I can understand certain points where we were poor growing up and she had to do what she can, but then there were other times where it just felt very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't like being ignored.
Because you find that to be selfish to some degree. Okay. Have you ever wondered what's going on with that person and why is it that they choose to no longer partake in the conversation?
Well, whoever's ignoring me at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
But
What have
it's
you come up with?
I,
Come on, let's work. We here. Let's go. Let's work.
I think it's weak.
You think it's weak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing for something to happen and you not acknowledge it or embrace it or whatever, but it's different when something is right at your front door and you're not acknowledging it. So if you're ignoring, I don't know, you're ignoring your traumas, you're not going to therapy, or you're ignoring a wound and you're not letting it heal, is one thing. But when something is right there in front of you saying, like, let's have a conversation, or you're already engaged in having a conversation and you back out of it by ignoring and not acknowledging the person, yeah, I think it's kind of weak. I think it's cowardly. And that's why it's annoying.
Excellent. Very interesting. How do you deal with conflict? When conflict arises, when tempers are high, when no one is feeling listened to,
Mm-hmm.
do you walk away or are you the type to want to continue the conversation?
I'm the type to want to continue the conversation, and not necessarily to continue the conversation to find a resolution or a solution. It's just to continue to have an understanding. I don't have to agree with you to continue to have you in my life,
Okay.
right? But if there is a conflict and we're already engaged in the conversation, we
Mm-hmm.
might as well go the whole way through.
Interesting. And what if during the conversation your partner or whoever you're speaking to needs some time to kind of process their own emotions, their own feelings, their own thoughts?
Before they
During the conversation, they
before they express everything.
as the conversation is going, there's a lot happening and they shut down because they need to self-soothe.
Yeah.
Do you still view that as you being ignored?
If they haven't communicated that, hey, right now I need a second, then yeah.
Okay.
But you can see the difference between somebody freezing and shutting down and somebody ignoring you. Because
Mhm.
freezing and shutting down, they're not doing anything.
Okay.
Ignoring is I'm still able to do other things while Xing you out of everything, while Xing out your voice and your existence.
Got it. Got it. Are you familiar with the term stonewalling?
I'm not familiar with the term stonewall.
Can do you have your phone near you so you can look that up real quick?
I have a computer.
Yes. Type up Stonewall. Type in Gottman Stonewalling.
That is a lot of words.
Gottman, Gottman, followed by Stonewalling. Stonewalling.
Got it. What is Gottman stonewalling? Stonewalling is, well, what it sounds like. In a discussion or argument, the listener withdraws from the interaction, shutting down and closing themselves off from the speaker because they are feeling overwhelmed or psychologically flooded. Stonewalling.
Yeah.
They
So
built the wall.
exactly right. It's into a point where they feel so attacked, or it's no longer a safe space for them, or there's a lot going on that they withdraw from the conversation. Think of it as a silent treatment. So,
Okay.
from your perception, the stonewalling, the silent treatment, does it equate to your experience of being ignored?
Yeah, it sounds very similar. Yeah, in a lot of factors. Yes.
Have you ever stonewalled during a conversation?
Um, Possibly, yeah. No, I've ignored people during conversation on
But
purpose to be disrespectful.
to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay. So the truth is, right, on average, 70% of males tend to engage in stonewalling. Right. So that's more common among men. Yes, it is perceived as disrespectful because we're having a conversation and now you're choosing to no longer partake in it. But that's also due to one feeling triggered, feeling flooded, and feeling attacked consistently. Right.
Right.
So I'm trying to explain to you what might be the cause as to why someone would stonewall you during a conversation, and to maybe not see it as a sign of disrespect, but understanding that's a pattern of negative communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm yelling at you in a conversation, I'm attacking you. You're selfish. You only care about yourself, right? And I'm giving you all of these examples from years ago on how selfish you are, but I'm not really understanding you or processing what you're saying to me. How long do you think it will take you to be like, you know what, fuck this? I'm no longer partaking in that conversation.
Right. Not long. But life is a little bit more complex than that.
How's that?
Because that's the easy solution. That's the easy scenario. Now, what do you do when somebody's stonewalling you, but you're not yelling at them? What do you do when somebody's stonewalling you, but you're the one that's initiated the conversation,
Oh,
and they still like deny giving you the respect of a response? That's what I feel,
okay.
and that's disrespectful.
Okay. So,
And
mhm.
just to add on, so when people do it like that, that what I feel like is a high level of blatant disrespect. But then when I also get it, when it's the first scenario that you mentioned, when tensions are high, I see a level of disrespect the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are saying if none of the yelling or the criticizing from your perspective is not taking place, then there should be no reason why your partner would stonewall you.
I think I have no, because I can see the reason why, and I can, and it doesn't take high tensions. Okay, all right, yes, but also I just have less empathy.
You have
because
less empathy.
because I have less empathy for the time when there's tensions aren't high, because at least you can give me the grace through communication and saying I just need a second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the connection through trauma or whatever that's caused, or the psychological part that's causing them to stonewall, it's the lack of communication of, yeah, just lack of communication. You need a second, say you need a second. If you want to continue to talk, say you want to continue to talk, or continue to talk. If you don't want to speak right now, you speak another time. Or if you don't want to speak about this ever again, just say that, but don't ignore me.
Fair. In a perfect world, right? That would make
Yeah.
that would make the most sense, right? With someone that has masterful communication skills, that's exactly what would happen. You're also
Right.
branding yourself as this amazing person that knows how to speak and communicate effectively. Is that the case, Orlando?
I know I'm branding myself as a person that's willing to put the effort, because we don't have to be great communicators as long as we're communicating. I mean, but as long as we're communicating, we're gonna get somewhere.
Gotcha.
Or maybe we might even find out that we just can't communicate. And so now we can go our separate ways, and then it'll be perfectly fine. And now we can end on this term
Why
without,
why why would we need to go our separate ways because we can't communicate versus going to learn how to communicate effectively?
because not I don't feel like everybody is compatible. And at the time where I'm communicating in this certain way, I'm not compatible with the other people that can't communicate in a certain way. So I would rather have the reason that we separate be communication than the reason we separate be because tensions were high because we couldn't communicate. And that way I can keep people around me that know how to communicate the best with me. That's standard compatibility.
Compatibility is built, not found. Communication skills is also learned, not found, right? 99% of couples don't know how to communicate, period. 99% of us don't know how to communicate because communication skills is a science, right? There's one effective way of communicating. There's not a million, there's not hundreds, there's not thousands. It's very simple, it's very clear. And with that being said, Orlando, I would love to test your communication skills if that's okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you 5 scenarios. I'm going to read you what we refer to as a harsh startup, meaning the wrong way to start that conversation. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me what is the best way that you would start that conversation yourself, right? We're going to take your answer, then I'm going to share my answer. And then we're going to compare, and I'm going to grade you on how well or how efficient your communication skills are. How does that sound?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Scenario 1. When your mother-in-law visits tonight, you plan to tell her how much it hurts you when she criticizes your parenting skills. You want your partner, who is very defensive when it comes to mom, to back you up. Harsh startup, meaning the worst way to start this conversation. I can't stand it when your mother comes over.
I'm listening.
Now, Orlando, how would you start this conversation with your partner? So I don't want you to tell me how you would do it. I just want you to act like I am Mila, right? And we're experiencing this, and you're bringing this to me to talk about it.
Okay. And the conversation is, I want to speak to
when your mother-in-law, yes, when your mother-in-law visits tonight, you plan to tell her how much it hurts you when she criticizes your parenting skills. You want me, who is very defensive when it comes to my mother, to back you up.
Got it. Boom. Already got it.
Go.
All right. First of all, we're laying down and we're cuddling. Right? Because I like to, when it comes to serious conversations, I actually like to have a connection through physical touch. Right? So I'm going to start. Oh, hey babe, I gotta tell you about something. And I want to let you know before I even say this that I'm not coming at you, and I'm not coming at anybody, and I don't have any like bad intention with doing this. Is literally just me talking about my feelings, and I just want to let you know that I want to speak to your mom about things that she said about like how I parent. Once again, I want you to know I'm not coming at you, or I'm not even coming at your mom. It's just something that makes me feel away, and I would just want to feel good when I'm around your mom, and I just want you to have my back on my feelings, not necessarily like what she's saying, but just how it makes me feel.
Okay.
That's actually been a real like approach that I've actually used.
As a masterful communicator, I will say that was pretty good, my man.
Told you.
Pretty good.
I've used those exact words in that exact format multiple times.
I think the only thing I would tell you is that saying I'm not coming at you doesn't mean that people are not gonna feel like you're coming at them.
Oh, I know, but saying it is better than not saying it, because then it sets the tone. It's not a matter of like, I can't control people's feelings, but I can control my approach and how they view my approach. So if I tell you that I'm not coming at you, or if I don't tell you how to start the conversation, I'd rather tell you that, hey, I'm coming at you in a peaceful manner than just saying, hey, this is what I'm coming at you with.
Okay. Nice. Not bad. You want to hear mine? Because I wrote it out. You know what, babe? I really care about your mom, but I'm worried that she'll be critical of me tonight about how I am with the kids. It upsets me so much last time when she was here. I would appreciate it if you could find a way to support me. That would mean a lot to me.
I give that a 7 out of 10.
10 out of 10, buddy. Okay.
That was good.
Keep going. Number 2, you wish that your partner would cook dinner or take you out. Harsh startup. You never take me anywhere, and I'm sick of doing the cooking. You'll go.
I want to talk to my partner that they don't cook me dinner or take me out.
You wish that I would cook dinner or take you out.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the scenario.
Okay, so I'll probably joke about it.
No, don't tell me what you're gonna do. Just do it. Real life.
Okay. So, hey babe, I see you've been very comfortable around the house. Not much movement going on lately. And depending on what her response was, which would probably be like annoyed, or like her asking, what do I mean? I was like, it just would be nice if we could like go out or like we can cook. And I don't know what's happening right now, and I feel like we've had things like at a certain level or a certain thing, or we've been doing things for each other that we're making this like relationship great, and I just want to keep it at that level or more. And I just feel like we were cooking, we were going out, and we don't do that as much. And whatever is happening that may have like brought us to this space, if you want to do it together, like we can cook together, I would love to do that also. So if we can't, if you can't cook for me, I would love to cook with you, just so we could do something together or do this still together. I'd more so make it about if my partner isn't doing something that I would like them to do with me, I'll try to attempt to make it so that we can do it together, and then they can do it on their own. Actually, this actually happened recently where I asked her to send me nudes more often. So, and I kept asking, and she was like, "Well, you're right here," so it's like hard to, want to do that. It was easier when we were long distance, and I told her that, I still would like that. So I took the initiative and I sent her nudes, and it's like I can't wait to see yours. So now I set the presence to show her like, hey, we can do this together. I'll send you some, you can send me some if it's something that I want.
Okay, not bad. Here's what I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, babe, you know what? Kind of miss receiving nudes from you. When I did receive them, it would make my day. It would make me feel appreciated, made me feel loved. It also made me feel like you were thinking of me. And I understand that we're not living together and we're seeing each other often, and that might be the reason. So I'm wondering if it's possible that we could start doing that again, because I kind of miss flirting with you that way. And plus, I just like to see you naked on my phone. That is very sexy to me.
All right, let me get my
phone. So I think part of communicating is knowing how you feel, but also being able to state how you feel, right? In your examples, you've done a very, very good job of being solution focused, and by kind of putting yourself with that person to kind of assist in what you're asking for. But I have yet to hear how you feel. Right?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
How do you feel? Right? Like, you want me to cook for you. Why? How do you feel? Hey, babe, I know that you enjoy my cooking. I enjoy cooking for you. I enjoy taking care of you. But lately, I've been feeling tired of consistently cooking and just taking care of those acts. So is it possible that for the next week you could kind of assist by doing some of the cooking yourself? Or if not possible, can you take us out to dinner? Because it would mean a lot to me to spend time together and relieving me, because I'm overwhelmed with all of the responsibilities that I have this week. That would mean a lot to me.
Interesting, because when you, in your explanation, it feels kind of focused towards how I felt or how you felt. But when I was thinking about it, I was I take the initiative to like I said, make it seem like we can do this together before they do it on their own. Because I'm thinking maybe they have so much going on that I need to help out a little bit more.
And we go back to people pleasing.
And we go back to people pleasing.
Right? You taking care of everybody else. You lowering, you minimizing how you're feeling and not communicating it, but instead bringing them with you to assist them in kind of catering to your need, versus you being able to express, hey, this is how I feel. This is what I need. Right? The same way that you want to take care of your partner, you should also have a similar expectation and experience of them. And you're kind of cheating your partner when you're not telling them what you need and how to be present for you. Eventually, that's going to lead to resentment. I'm always doing this. I'm always doing that. I take care of everything. You don't do this. You don't do that. Right? So being able to say, hey, this is what I need. This is how I'm feeling. That's true intimacy. That's true vulnerability. That's also you trusting your partner that they're going to meet your needs, versus you finding a way to have your partner meet them, but with you still playing a larger role into them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, because I was actually thinking about how this is a great segue to talk about that me and Mila went to a sex party in LA.
How was that?
It was cool. It was nothing crazy. Actually, somebody it's kind of funny to say, but somebody recognized me at the sex party.
By now, in that world, you're very known for that.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't, it's not something I think about on my front of my mind. Anyway, the reason why this is a good segue, because one of the things that me and Mila had to have a discussion about and communicate about in a very healthy way was interactions at sex parties, or just interactions within within the sexual side of our relationship. And just like you said, that I wasn't really forward with my feelings about that. And I realized going forward that, well, not now, but at a certain point, I realized that I've opened this door for Mila to be
heard and understood
as far as her sexual side, and open and free and stuff like that. But with the things that she's not comfortable with, I started to feel a little bit of resentment, because it was like, you get to do all of these things, which I'm not bothered by, but on the flip side of it, I can't. And I think I wanted more so equality from it than anything. And it wasn't necessarily, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't necessarily jealousy, like, oh, you get to kiss other girls, like I don't get to. But but when I started thinking about, I've been going to sex parties, and we were at a sex party when I started thinking about this, like, oh shit, I can't do a lot of things like I used to in this space within a relationship. And because I never expressed how I would feel within this space, and I was more so focused on my partner's freedom and stuff like that, I never got to think about how I would feel like in these times.
So what I'm hearing is that you were able to kind of gather what your partner wanted to partake in and understand that, and to some degree, and whatever you were comfortable with, that was allowed. But you didn't take the opportunity for you to share what it is that you wanted to partake during the sex party.
Yeah, well, and I didn't even take the opportunity to share it, because I was always thinking about my partner, which made me not even have an opportunity to even think about it. So when I finally got to that moment, it was just like, it hit me right at that moment, and now I had to think about it within the moment.
Yes, and that was upsetting too, because she's out there doing the things that she wants to do. That's okay within the relationship, but you feel like, hey, I don't get to do this. I don't get to do that, but I want to. To
Yeah,
something.
or even if it's not, I didn't want to at the time, and she wasn't. We both weren't doing anything at this specific sex party that we were at, but it was just a thought of, even if I wanted to, or I don't want to, the option isn't even there. So it's not that I want to at the moment, but if I wanted to, I couldn't even anyway.
She never voiced it.
Because I never voiced it.
Right. So now we got people pleasing merged with fear of intimacy right here. This is a perfect example. People pleasing. Hey, we're about to go to the sex party. What are the things that you want to partake in? What are the things that we're comfortable with within the relationship for you to engage and have fun? Yeah. Right. While me, I'm not voicing what I need, what I want, or exactly how I would like to have fun.
Yeah.
And part of that is because, you know, she might be uncomfortable with certain things that you want to do. So in an attempt to not really rock the boat or be told no, or for her to be upset with what you want to do, or etc., or risk causing an injury that might end the relationship, you choose to stay quiet and allow that resentment to grow.
Yeah. So now we've gotten to a point where we've had a conversation.
Really?
You're not a master communicator. You know we was going to talk about this. But yeah, we got to a point where we spoke about it. I was like, because I had time to think about it, and I told her, like, you have to understand, like, I'm not pressed for sexual experiences. I'm pressed to do them with you, but I'm not pressed to do them outside of you. I don't want her in this mindset thinking that she has to keep up or she has to do certain things because my sexual appetite is wild and crazy, which it is. But that pressure, the kind of pressure she's thinking of isn't what's there. So we spoke about it, and I told her, like, I don't want you to feel that pressure. This is what I'm fine with. This is what I'm cool with. And she told me what she's fine with and what she's cool with, and we came to a middle ground, which really wasn't hard to do. And then we went to the sex party. We had a good time. We fucked each other around people, and then we chilled. And we came back home. It was the exciting part of it was the fact that it wasn't exciting. It was normal. It was chill. It was cool. We went out, we indulged in the party like as if we would have went to a club just on a chill night and just danced a few songs and came back home. That's exactly what it felt like. And because it didn't feel like a big deal, it didn't also feel like a lot of pressure.
Correct. Yeah. Now, do you see the union of mutual communication, mutual honesty and vulnerability, and you trusting her by telling her how you felt and what your needs were, and her desire to meet those needs the same way you go above and beyond to meet her needs?
Yeah.
That's how you build comfortability. It's not found, it's created, it's worked on.
Yeah.
You get that now?
Yeah.
Proud of you, man. Very proud of you for that. How big of a deal was that for you to actually voice how you felt? And were you scared or kind of worried or anxious about how she might respond to it or how she might take it?
No, it was a big deal because I felt like it was a hump for her.
I felt, you don't put like, you put the feeling. I felt
it was a hump for her. You know, that's a good point.
I felt it was not a feeling. Put the feeling. I felt
pressured.
Let's go. This is why we're here. Let's work. I felt pressured
that it was on her mind, in which it made me feel a little bit of sad.
Okay, I'll take that.
Because
sad. What else? What else? What else? I want more feelings. A little bit of sad. What else? What are the feelings?
Sad and
worried.
I was worried. Worried is a good one.
Okay.
I felt all these feelings, and especially feeling sad that she would feel uncomfortable, and then that would put a strain on things. And I felt as if it's a strain that didn't need to be there.
What would be the worst case scenario? Felt a little sad that she might be uncomfortable, right? What would be the worst case scenario if that did take place? Where did your mind go of worst case?
Worst case scenario is us not coming to an understanding to the point that we don't do anything. Anything at all. And then that puts a strain on just the sex just between us two, because we feel like the other person wants to do something, or the other person is interested in something, and I myself am stopping them or inhibiting them from being their true selves.
There you go. Right? And what was the reality?
The reality was that we're not even pressed for like big group situations like sex parties. We would rather just keep a very small, intimate space. And that's what's most comfortable. Like, we don't gotta be all out in front of everybody having sex. And I was fine with that also. I was like, hey, now that we experienced it and we talked about it and we did it together, I was like, oh, we don't really need to do all of this.
Keyword, we talked about it.
So all of these things that we were stressed about, we came to find out that together, we don't even like it. So maybe individually, it was a cool, great scenario and space. But as a collective, we still like the experience, but not specifically in that space. And it was the experience that we were worried about, not necessarily the space, but we were putting pressure on ourselves in that space.
Beautiful. Breakthrough. Amazing. So what have you learned moving forward? What is something that you're going to be more mindful of?
That I'm an amazing communicator, and I don't need to feel like it's too much pressure to start the communication, because this is what I've been blessed with. I've been blessed with being a great communicator, and it's not a strain to start the communication. It's just my calling.
Okay. All right. However you choose to label that is up to you. Last question, right? So when we did the examples, you put yourself in all of these acts and not really communicated what you were in need of. I also feel that in the conversation about the sex party, you more than likely did the same thing, where you input yourself in her experience that's catered to you, and instead of voicing what are the things that you really wanted. Is that true?
Yeah. And I think the reason why I didn't voice what I wanted was because what I wanted is in that space isn't as important as understanding her needs to be comfortable.
And what about you?
Well, yeah, but all right, so I mean like this. In that space with Mila, I would definitely want a threesome. I would definitely want us to have sex together and everybody's doing whatever. I would definitely want us to just be chilling in that space, right? Definitely want us to have a threesome with another woman out as everybody else is having sex, right? That's what I would want. But Huh?
But you did not voice that.
I didn't voice that to her, but the only reason I didn't is because those things aren't as important to me as her being comfortable in that space. So adding on what I want, I didn't feel like it would have been productive to getting her to the point of being comfortable and then speaking about the things that I want.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought prioritizing her and her comfort would have been the better angle than my physical or sexual needs and wants.
Yeah. And nothing that you chose that approach because you're aware of her relationship history and the type of things that she has been through and the positions that she has been placed in that may have been uncomfortable or unfair to her. And you're mindful of that and you're choosing not to recreate these moments for her.
Right.
Okay. Mindful.
We even do that in our role playing while we have sex. We role play. You're gonna laugh now, but this is actually a really good idea. I've told her that the bad sexual experiences that she's had in the past, we can role play them, and now she can have a memory of something that's positive and pleasurable instead of being stuck with only having a memory that's harmful.
Okay, sex therapist.
Yeah.
That
I should go get Tantra certified. I'm good.
that was stellar. That was stellar.
I know.
Replacing the negative experience with a much more positive one. That next time you go through those experiences, you have a positive frame of work to draw from.
Exactly. Because I can't change what's already happened, but I can add on something positive. Yeah.
From men to men, I applaud that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I respect you for that because that's amazing. That's exactly what the world needs more of. And us men need to also be mindful on how oppressive that we have been to women, especially Black women, when it comes to their intimacy, their body, sex, and etc. So the fact that you're going through those steps to kind of rewrite her experiences as a man, as a Black man, I thank you for that. I respect that. I commend you for that. And hopefully more men could follow your footsteps. I'm actually, right after this, I'm gonna go to my wife, be like, hey, what negative experiences you had? Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's positively recreate these scenarios. That's amazing, man. I respect that. Good shit.
Yeah. Been doing that for like a good few weeks now. I think coming up on a month.
Nice. Healing through sex.
Sexual healing.
Sexual healing, huh? My man. All right. That's pretty much all the time that we've had today. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Next time we speak, it will be post-Christmas. That's gonna be great.
I definitely want to hear what experiences you created to continue to heal your inner child around Christmas. So that's gonna be an amazing conversation, and I look forward to hearing about that. On behalf of me and my family, I wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. And I hope that you have a great time and drink lots of coquito.
Yo, we ain't got no coquito out here. I'm dying. Oh my gosh, I need to get a shipped. On behalf of
out there, bro?
Huh?
No Spanish people out there?
No Spanish people in the
valley. All right, man.
Actually, I do know somebody in Spanish. I might get some. But thank you for the well wishes and the happy holidays and the Merry Christmases, and from my family to yours also.
Thank you. Receive. See you next week, man. Later.